the calls you would like to see. But if you're complaining constantly to the officials, one, they're not going to be on your side much, right? We all know that. They're going to get pissed off at you. But your athletes see it, and then your athletes start talking smack. And then you're trying to tell your athletes, hey, don't talk to the officials. Hey, coach, but you are. You are. So, how can we make this better? I guess my main point is discipline. Like I spoke in the beginning with my athletes. Mindset is a discipline. Fill your cup. What are your mental strategies? What are your mantras? What are your goals? Are you writing them down for each game? Are you writing them down for practice? Do you challenge yourself? And my question to coaches, do you fill your cup? How am I going to make this season better than last? How am I going to lay out my expectations so I can get the proper, not only mental execution of heart and soul out of my athletes, but how can I get them to consistently be disciplined? Again, when I write in Psychology Today, in my blogs, quite often I will say, do you want to be the coach that the athlete wants to run through fire for? Or do you want to be the coach that they want to throw in the fire? It's all about your execution as well. As coaches, including myself, it's about the execution of my mindset, of your mindset as a coach. That will dictate the mindset of your athletes. That doesn't mean you're going to have a few outliers where some athletes are just off the rails and don't want to listen and don't want to be disciplined. But if they're allowed to consistently stay off the rails, and then they consistently go off the rails during games and affect the team dynamic, then as a coach, we have to ask ourselves, how can we do better? We have to tell ourselves we can do better. For those athletes who don't want to be disciplined but yet want to try to obtain a college scholarship or play at a higher level, well, you have to ask yourself, how am I going to get there if I'm not disciplined? Nobody wants an undisciplined athlete. It's a headache. You could be a dime a dozen. There's tons of kids who could jump out of the gym, shoot a ball, and execute. No coach wants a headache. For those athletes, not only the ones that I work with, but all you athletes out there, learn to fill your cup. Understand the mental strategies of what it takes to be tough during a game, when things go well and when things don't. There's always going to be high and lows in the game, but you have to work on how you're going to handle the lows. In all sports, there's different failure points. Success is not perfection. That is so important to remember. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to make physical mistakes. You're going to make mental mistakes. The question is, how do you recover? Sometimes I'll tell some of my athletes, say, so what? So what that I missed that? So what that I struck out? I'm going to get the next one. The problem is when you get stuck there. The problem is when your coaches get stuck there. There's times coaches call timeout and they're still stuck on the fact that the play wasn't executed well or you didn't do what you're supposed to do, and they're on you as opposed to moving on to the next play. It takes a village. Not just the athletes, it takes the coaches, and everybody has to work together. So finally, my take home. Discipline. Executing proper fundamentals consistently. That has to be enforced during practices with the coaches in order for the athletes to translate it into every single game. That doesn't mean they're going to do it right every time, but you're going to see that they're executing what they're supposed to. Yeah, the game's moving fast these days. All the games are. Kids are more athletic. Social media is an issue. But the one thing that hasn't changed are proper fundamentals of sport. Learning and teaching proper discipline. For all you athletes out there, fill your cup. Find your mantras. Learn how to breathe properly during games. And I wish everyone who is in the NCAA right now for March Madness good luck. Anyone who is in season, high school, collegiate, professional, good luck. And please remember to fill your cup. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. This is Dr. Laura Mealy with Sport, Psych, and Safety. Be well.